And good morning. Once again, welcome to DBS This Morning. And as you can see, we're here on the beautiful beach setting. And that's the privilege of being an island good, being able to start your day on the beach somewhere in St. Lucia. This morning, we got another packed show for you. Of course, we normally start off with your morning news, the headlines. Timothy is going to give you that in a minute. This morning, we're also going to be taking a look at SEDU. We had a chat with SEDU. They've got a small business grant that they've got now that persons can take advantage of. And of course, we are going to be getting to find out more about that this morning.
Good
we
morning.
also had the privilege today.
Ernest Hilaire has announced the imminent return of Radio St. Lucia, albeit in a different format. A former employee of the radio station, Oliver Lawrence, who has been advocating for the reopening of the station, is elated to hear of its planned return to the airwaves. The closure of the station, he says, left a void which no other radio station on island could have filled.
As a long-standing member of staff, I know what public service broadcasting does to the public. In fact, national broadcasting, Radio St. Lucia, and whatever national medium in the Caribbean region. I think I welcome that, and it's wonderful that is happening. There are materials in there to see that we can serve weeks, months of broadcasting the material we have there. So I welcome the action by the government. I thank them. I thank the Prime Minister and the Minister of Broadcasting very much for the action at the public, and I'm sure the whole St. Lucian community and those in media and media arts and the performing arts knows the value of such an entity in our community.
As one of its election manifesto promises, the St. Lucia Labour Party had pledged to reopen the station, which was closed by the former United Workers' Party administration, citing financial challenges. The National Insurance Corporation offices remained closed on Wednesday as staff continued apparent strike action. Negotiations between the NIC and the National Workers Union, the
NIC workers continue to gather outside the head.
Staff concerns are ongoing. The employees are said to be disgruntled over protracted negotiations on wages and salaries since January of 2022, among other issues like additional leave, monetary reward for employees' length of service, and laundry allowances. The union and the management of the NIC are said to be engaged in talks, and there has been no deadlock in the negotiations, leaving the NIC's management perplexed by the sudden action by the employees. The Labour administration has come under fire from United Workers' Party political leader Alan Chasney for not investing more in the economic development of Vieux Fort. Chasney thinks this would be a better way to remedy the upsurge in crime in the south of the island.
For anyone to suggest that $3.5 to $5 million can solve the problem in Vieux Fort has to be delusional. And I think that speaks to why Vieux Fort has found itself. I'm now absolutely convinced the Labour Party is not able to see a bigger picture, cannot figure out how to intertwine, link the economy and social progress in this country. So when you want to talk about how do you solve the problems in Vieux Fort, you think some paint and cleaning up the place is going to solve that problem?
He has called for many of the former administration's plans and projects for the South, like the Desert Star Holdings development, to be continued by the current Labour administration. Finally, the Ministry of Commerce, Manufacturing, Business Development, Cooperatives and Consumer Affairs is experiencing a shipping delay in brown sugar due to supply chain issues. However, the ministry says it is actively working to expedite shipments to St. Lucia. According to the ministry, global supply chain issues are constraining a variety of basic goods from reaching the hands of consumers. Sugar shipments continue to be impacted due to container shortages, especially 20-foot containers, and they are becoming increasingly difficult to source due to congestion at ports and rising demand. The ministry says that every avenue is being pursued to mitigate the impact of the global supply chain disruptions. Brown sugar is expected to arrive by this weekend. However, refined or white sugar is available to consumers for purchase locally. Those are your top stories. Thanks for watching. Good morning.
And that was your morning headlines. We will be right back. We are due for a break. Let's take that break now and come right back. And we are going to kick off with our first feature for today, and that would be the persons from SEDU. Let's find out what this mission is all about. And today we've caught up with two members from SEDU, and they're here to talk about the MSME loan grant facility, which is now available. We've got the wonderful Abby, and of course, Royce Lane is here with us. Hello, ladies.
Hi, Maureen. Good morning.
Good to have you on board. Well, we're going to dig right into it because we want to know when we hear money is involved and we got money available to us, we just want to know how we can get it. So what is the MSME grant facility? What is this all about?
Okay. So the MSME loan grant facility was implemented March 16th. It is actually a project spearheaded by the Ministry of Commerce. And it is essentially designed to support micro, small, and medium enterprises who may have had or felt the effects of the COVID-19 pandemic. And it's really a facility to allow them to access finance. So the project basically is a fund which has been supported by the Caribbean Development Bank of EC $10 million, which is supposed to give relief basically to those businesses to help them in areas where the businesses have suffered or they require, a little boost to bring them back into full operations or get them into a space where they can find their way again in the local and the global market, if possible.
I'm a small business owner, operator. Do I qualify? How do I know if I qualify?
Okay. So to qualify, basically, we are looking at persons within a particular age range. So you would have to be within the age range of about 31 to 60 years, but more importantly, classified as a micro, small, or medium enterprise. And that classification is actually within our legislative framework. So a micro business essentially would be one that has about 5 employees with an annual turnover sales of about 100,000 and net assets not exceeding 75,000. You have the small business, which would have about 6 to 21 employees, and your annual turnover would not exceed 500,000, net assets not exceeding 200,000. Whereas the medium scale would be those above that, which is 21 to 50 employees, not more than 50 employees, with an annual turnover not exceeding 1 million or net profits not exceeding 500,000.
Okay, so I've met those criteria.
Yes.
How do I sign up?
Okay,
Walk
so
me through that.
maybe Abby can share.
Maybe you want to share how we sign up.
Okay, so I need to add to what my colleague said, that you must be a St. Lucia national. So, Maureen, you can't
I can't
apply.
take part.
No,
Man,
you
that's
can't
not
apply.
listen. Not even if I am a citizen, I've acquired citizenship, no? I
Well,
must be
in that-
a born St. Lucian?
You could be through
could.
citizenship,
Okay,
yes, yes, yes,
okay.
yes.
You can
Okay,
be.
well, there you go.
Yes.
All right.
For citizenship, you can apply for the grant and plus loan.
Right.
Um,
How do I sign up?
Okay, so there are application forms online. You can also pick up application form at the ministry. They're also available at the constituency office throughout St. Lucia. However, you have to print them because we want original signatures on the application form. So you have to print them, add the relevant document to the application form and drop it at the ministry.
Right. What other documents would I need to show that if I was, because you got to get certain things, you must show that this is what it is. So
Right.
what documents would I need?
So you need a business plan with financial projection up to 12 months. You'd also need 2 IDs, your national ID card or your driver's license or your passport. You'd need invoices, supporting documents,
So the utility bills to show proof of residence.
yes,
Right.
where you live, and it must be up to 3 months, not more than that.
Right. A business plan is for a lot of small business, they normally don't go that route. If a small business would like to qualify and don't have a business plan, does the ministry help with this?
We actually have been in our programs. Normally we would have training sessions to help guide persons with different formats for business planning. But even with the launching of the facility, we have added some of the supporting templates and tools on our website, which is commerce.gov.lc. And it allows persons to see, for example, what should be incorporated in the business plan. We have officers to assign to work with clients. So once you are registered with SEDU, which is part of the process, you would have to come in to register as a client of the SBDC or SEDU. You would then get someone to guide you through if you do not have any knowledge other than maybe just the basic skeleton. So we would give you some supporting information to help you with preparing the plan, especially the financials. I know a lot of people tend to shy away from the maths in the financials.
Yes.
So that's something we will also provide support.
It's a $10 million grant that is out there. How would I know how much money is I would be
available
to me?
Okay, so we have actually assigned funding based on the level or scale of operation. So if you are what we call a prevention or potential business, you're just starting off, you can apply for a loan grant of up to $10,000. If you have been in operation, let's say within a year to 2 years, the maximum that you would apply for is $20,000 EC dollars.
Okay.
And if you have been in operations for more than the 2 year span, you can get up to $25,000. Now, the thing about the loan grant, it is actually allocated in a 70-30% ratio. So it's 70% of it would be grant, and 30% would be the loan.
Okay.
So the interest rate is phenomenal. It's about 3%. So you actually have a good deal if you get $3,000 on $10,000 at 3%.
Absolutely.
This is an excellent deal.
Is there any priority areas that you're looking at in terms of who you're going to be awarding these loans and grants to? Okay,
so the ministry has actually assigned certain areas and we want to focus on. That does not mean that other persons cannot apply. We have identified, for example, the persons in agriculture sector, agrotourism areas, but primarily we focus on manufacturers, which would include agro-processors, and service-based industries. So the service-based persons that we have prioritized would be persons in the beauty and wellness sector, ICT, creative industries, professional services. Any of those areas, for example, would be paramount in terms of application. So if we have other persons, let's say you coming from another sector outside of that, once you can show the relevance and the viability of the business through the planning, then you are also able to apply. We do have two areas we have identified as ineligible.
No, I was going to ask that.
Right. So the accommodation. So if you have a guest house or something, so that would not qualify, or not non-profit business. We are looking at for-profit essentially with the Ministry of Commerce.
Who approves the application? Once I've gone through the application process, where does it lies in terms of approval?
Okay, so it goes through a process of screening. Within the ministry, we have set up initial reviewers for the business plans to see whether all the criteria of the plan, are being met. You have all the areas that would be relevant to a good plan. And beyond that, there is an independent body which is set up as an evaluation committee comprising of private, public sector personnel. And they would go for a more rigorous screening at that point. So all the business plans and the application documents would go through screening by the committee before it is approved. And at that stage, once it is there's a final approval, it is passed on to the administration, the administering body, which is the SLDB, Financial Development Bank.
Right. I was just about to ask you if they're involved and what is their role. How are they playing their role? What role are they playing in this project?
So fundamentally, SLDB would be the one handling disbursements. That's the underlying responsibility. So as the administration body, they would make sure all the loan criteria would be met, as well as identifying persons who would meet good credit checks. So they do the background checks for credit as well. This is important. And we have to make sure too that persons have signed on to relevant contracts.
Right.
So all of that would be part of the process in completing before disbursement.
Right. And then the repayment, if you take the loan, will go through the SLDB as well.
And you have up to about 5 years, I think, for the loan repayment process.
Right. Is there a time frame in which to qualify for this grant?
Well, the due date is April 19th.
Right.
And the close-off time is 3 p.m. That's in the first instance.
Right.
So persons who don't get the opportunity to apply this time around, you will be given another opportunity to apply later on.
Wonderful. That is really how important it is for SEDU and the ministry to have facilities like that be available to small business owners and operators.
For us, we have recognized that the access to finance has always been an issue. And I think for most business persons, especially coming out of COVID, we have seen some persons with difficulties, for example, even accessing basic things, so the utilities and so on. While they cannot apply for a loan for certain things like utilities and rent or for scholarship or this kind of thing, but there are areas where we aim to support. So if they are looking for support for equipment, let's say sourcing equipment or renovating a facility, possibly even looking at training that would benefit the business, we have identified those areas as critical, because we realize that during the past 2 years, a lot of the small businesses have taken a hit.
Yes. Wonderful. Ladies, thank you so very much for flourishing us with that information.
Before we end the program, I would just like to say that you cannot apply for the loan/grant if your business is not registered. So persons wishing to apply for the grant, I would advise you to register your business. You can call the SEDU unit within the Ministry of Commerce to find out how you can go about doing that.
Wonderful. Yeah. And that's where you come in, because I remember running into you in that department as well. Thank you again so much, ladies, for joining us and sharing those information with us this morning. And I hope persons are going to take up the initiative and benefit greatly from this wonderful initiative.
Thank you for having us. We are happy to be here.
Great. Also this morning, we wanted to take you on the journey of the HD's Academy, and we wanted to take you on the inside of that as well. So let's find out what's been going on. And as mentioned, we are here with Kiflin Carew, of course, Helens Daughters. That name has become a household name, I'm hoping, by now. And it's the start to their 9th. I was saying the first and I had it totally wrong, but it's the 9th Academy. And we're here. It started yesterday. Kiflin, tell us about it.
So like you said, it is our 9th edition of the Rural Women's Academy. We have done 5 in St. Kitts and Nevis and St. Vincent and the Grenadines in total, and 4 here in St. Lucia. What's amazing is that we had 95 women actually register, and we had 95 persons on last night. And essentially, it's a 9-week course introducing persons not just to general agriculture, but also helping persons who are currently in the field to expand their businesses, better their efficiency and their operations as well. So we go through things like sustainable agriculture, climate resilience, financial literacy, which is a big thing, agribusiness development, of course, nutritional marketing, understanding the nutritional components of the foods that you actually grow. And we added a new component, which is huge, agritourism, with our partners at Hotel Chocolat. So we're super excited about this training program.
The initiative started off this initiative because you realize that persons would have liked the training, but most time you have training available, it's normally during the daytime, and the people who are part of your community normally don't have the time to fit into the schedule. So you have made that available now at nights where persons can be free you can accommodate persons depending on whatever the day is like. So talk to us about that.
No, you said it right. So women, we're mothers, we're caretakers, we have full-time jobs, we have a lot on our plate. And the last thing you want to do is be able to leave your job or your kids and go to a training program at Wednesday at 2 p.m. It just doesn't work. So we meet our public, our audience in the middle. We created something that's virtual that they can access at any time and anywhere. And also we included, even though it's virtual, practical hands-on components. So there's going to be 2 to 3 field trips. Where they visit our farm at Hotel Chocolat, which you've been to.
I've been to.
And also 2 other farms that focus on different types of agriculture. So at Hotel Chocolat, it's a modern twist and a lot of climate resilience. The other farm is more of a traditional farm focused on regenerative agriculture and an additional farm as well.
Let me ask you, 95 persons you say signed up for this year's academy. Are they all St. Lucian based, or is it open to other persons from the other islands where Helens Daughters is now present, like the St. Kitts Antigua as well?
So actually this is St. Lucian based, because what we try to do is we curate our facilitators who actually know and understand the country. There are 2 facilitators that are not non-St. Lucian, but they're really quite good. So we have local and regional facilitators, and we choose persons that, one, have a passion not just for agriculture. It's not just a consultant that we pay, but a passion for people and for teaching and for seeing these people win. And also to note, St. Kitts and Nevis and St. Vincent and the Grenadines are going to have their own academies as well later on in the year. So we craft specifically for each country.
I absolutely love and I'm enjoying this. How long is the program going to be run?
So it's 9 weeks from the 4th of April, which started yesterday, until the 30th of May, and then we end with a nice little graduation ceremony, of course.
Wow. What can persons expect coming out of this form of training? A certificate that is going to be recognized. What are they walking away with, except, well, of course, the hands-on training and the information and the wealth of knowledge to be able to better operate within their field. But from your end, if they were to probably migrate, if they were to go to another island, how can what they've learned through that academy be recognized?
The biggest thing for us, and we've lobbied with that since 2019, was that our program is actually a certified substitute of the Ministry of Agriculture's Good Agricultural Practices, the GAP program. So if, for example, we look at this as supporting the ministry, if, for example, someone has missed the registration for the GAP program, they have access to our program and they can go through the process using our certificate to become a registered farmer. And what that means is, one, most women in the agricultural sector are unregistered farmers, which means that you don't get access to the concessions, like the vehicle concessions, the FARs, and so forth. You guys,
we were joking about the FARs.
Exactly.
Okay, so that's what we were talking about.
You get it. I mean, there's concessions, inputs, concessions as well, benefits. I think even from Renwick, I think even Bryce has concessions for registered farmers. So it's really a big deal. People don't think about it. And finally, it's the recognition. The more we pull women out of the informal sector, the more I think our people on a large notice how many women are actually actively part of the sector. So that's the biggest
Funny
thing.
that you're mentioning this now, because just earlier on we had a chat with SEDU. We had some about a grant, a MSME grant, and that was one of the things, ensuring that the people who are going to be qualifying for those grants and those loans got to be registered. And here you are now equipping people to get to line up within that framework to be able to benefit from stuff like that. That is great.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, people don't realize, like you said, that they have like a huge business and so forth. They've been operating for years and years. I'm sure you know of women or persons, business owners, they're just doing it and they're not registered. And the thing about it is not just the recognition, but the access to not just information, but support that you can get as a business owner in and outside of the agricultural sector is really paramount.
Wonderful. Well, successful academy for you for this time around. When is the next one, and when can persons register? If maybe persons would have missed out, is there going to be a next one for next year? And how can persons go about to register for an academy program?
So next year in St. Lucia, you can register in April. So we're going to try to keep the dates consistent. So April Then we move down, I think it's in August for St. Kitts and Nevis, and then October for St. Vincent and the Grenadines. So we're going to try to keep these times stable.
Wonderful. Anything you want to leave with our viewers before?
Well, the last thing I just want to leave is don't forget to stop by at our farmers market the last Saturday of every month at the courtyard of the pyramid. We look forward to seeing you there. Of course, Maureen.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Kiflin, and keep up the good work. We really do appreciate the initiative that you've taken on this mantle, and it was such a needed one. And you're full force, foot on the ground, running with the ladies, and we appreciate the work that you're putting in there.
Thank you.
All right. Okay. Wonderful. Helens Daughters on their brand new academy, well, their 9th academy for this year, 2023.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to this morning's SocaCize session. Leading the wine, we have Sarah, Laurie, and Shani. Let's get ready to sweat with SocaCize. For this morning's workout, we will be doing a cardio soca jam routine to Do Play That by Marshall Montano. Let's get moving. So we're going to begin with our right leg, toe, tapping, hands side to side. 4, 3, 2, 1, and 4, 3, 2, 1, pump the arms, pump. Removing the core as well. 4, 3, 2, now we're going to shuffle, push, move those legs, turn, turn, turn. Gonna tap, tap, and pull. Tap. Four, 3, 2, left leg. Let's go. And my low impact, you can skip the jump and just tap the leg. 4, 3, 2, pump, and 4, 3, 2, shuffle, push, turn, 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 pull, and 4, 3, 2, 1, tap. 4, 3, 2, 1, pump. Hey. Push. Turn. 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 Left leg. Tap. 4, 3, 2, 1, pump. 4, 3, 2, 1, push. Turn. 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 That was this morning's session. Thank you for choosing to flaunt with SocaCize. We hope that you're feeling sexy, sultry, and strong.
And speaking of the privileges of being an island girl, not only do we get to wake up on the beach, but we also get to have a wonderful and hearty breakfast, complimentary breakfast, compliments of Eugenie's Delight. This is where we wrap up this morning. I hope you had an awesome time with us again, and we look forward to our next date right here on DBS This Morning. Have an awesome day. And remember, your circle matters. Your circle is not supposed to be jealous. They're supposed to be proud.